Okay guys, so before you go and fletch a dozen arrows, you want to see which way that your bow naturally throws the arrow, because you don't want to fletch them right helical and your bow to naturally throw it to the left, and then you have your arrow fighting itself mid-flight. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shoot my bow basically at point blank range and to see which way my bow naturally throws the arrow. And whatever way it naturally throws the arrow, that's the way I'm going to fletch my arrows. Okay, so right here I have a mark on the top of my arrow, just like a 1, and I'm going to shoot this arrow into the target and I'm going to see where that 1 ends up. Okay, so on the downside, there is the number 1. So it looks like it's rotating to the left, but I'm going to take a step back and shoot another arrow. So I took another step back. I believe it's throwing left helical, but I want to make sure. I take a step back, and if it rotates more and is on the farther bottom of the right side, I know it's throwing left. But if it's on the top more upside, that means it's throwing right. So you want to take a step back just to make sure that it is for sure throwing left. So at first our mark was right here. So I took a step back to shoot another arrow, and it is now over here. So that means my arrow is rotating like this through the air, which I would need a left helical. Okay, so I got some different type of FMJs. They're the same, well, I say different type. They're both FMJs, both 340 spine, both 11.3 grains per inch. But these, with the match grade mark in the middle, are a little bit different weight for some reason. So I'm gonna fletch a dozen of just the regular style FMJs, and I'm gonna put these FMJs over here for now. So I am actually gonna fletch these with a 2.5 degree left helical. We shot my bow, and it does naturally throw a left helical, so that's what we're gonna go with. So I'm gonna start off by just laying all these out, getting some rubbing alcohol, and cleaning each one of these shafts before I put my air wrap on. So I'm just gonna go through and clean each shaft. Okay, so now that I got all those cleaned up, I'm gonna get just my regular mouse pad for my laptop. I'm gonna get my Bitzenberger, and you actually have to get these clamps separate. This is the left helical. I actually just got this in today, so you have to there's 3 separate clamps. It's kind of dumb, but if you want a straight or right helical or a left, they all come separate, and they're about 35, 40 bucks a piece. So I'm gonna be going with the left helical. I'm gonna set that to the side for now. Get my Q2I vanes, that's what I'll be running. And I will be running the Boning 5.5 inch arrow wraps. I actually only need 1 packet of these because I'm only doing a dozen. So they give you 13 in a pack. That way if you make a mistake, then you do have 1 extra. So all these arrows, some of them actually have inserts, so I'm gonna have to stand up and actually rotate this to where the tip is hanging off the edge. That way it don't catch and roll it on crooked. It may not, but I just don't want to risk it. So one of the toughest parts without fingernails is getting these things to peel up. And I just like to line the top. My 5mm, I like to line that up dead center in the middle so that way they're all consistent. And you want one of these mouse pads because they're forgiving. And if you were to do it on this hardwood, it would leave wrinkles throughout here. And that's definitely not what you want. So then, now that I've done that, I'll just complete that exact same process through all 12 of these arrows. So now that I got all those wraps put on, I'm going to set my jig up. It's actually set up for a 2.5 degree right helical because I just fletched my wife's arrows, but I'm actually going 2.5 degree left helical. So I'm gonna have to put my, I don't even know where I got this thing from, but it's DCA. It's a degree. It's a knock that just slides down in here, and you can put your vane in the clamp and you can actually put the exact degree. It's actually pretty fancy. So finally, after getting it, I finally got it set up with a 2.5 degree left helical. So now I'm going to fletch my first arrow. And I also do the same thing. The 5mm, I put the knock at the center, dead center of that. That way all of my fletchings will be the exact same. So I insert that and just find a middle somewhere. Get my glue. A lot of these actually require, a lot of the vanes require that you use like a primer pen, but I actually am not going to. I've found that with these, with this G-Lock blue glue, I've found that it's better just to put glue on. And what I do is I just put 3 dots. I put one on the edge, one in the middle, and one towards the back, and I just kind of dab that glue along there. That way there's no air pockets. And then I just put it on, slide it all the way down, and press. Let it sit there for about 10-15 seconds, and then I'll pull clamp and on to the next one. Well, I say that I have found out that these vanes don't need the primer pen. My buddy Garrett is actually the one that put me on these vanes and told me that they actually don't need them, and I tried it, and his experience is definitely the same as mine. You most definitely do not need the primer pen with these vanes. So it was actually pretty cool to see both of our experiences being the same. Do the exact same thing. One dab, 2 dabs, 3 dabs, and then I'll just space that along there. I am doing a 4 fletch. I don't know if I said that or not. So after I do each arrow, I like to go along the end and just put just a little bit of glue. I actually do use the AAE Max Bond glue just because it's a little finer of a print. But I just go and I do this all along the end. That way when the arrow, if it goes to the target or clean pastures or whatever, I don't have any issues of the fletchings wanting to tear. And that is it.